This is the Red Bull Rant podcast. If you aren't expecting adult language, why even bother listening? Welcome, my friends, to the Show Never Ends. This is the Red Bull Rant podcast. I'm your host, Jason Iapicco.
I'm Truman, and this is episode 487.
We were on the break!
Yep. Red Bulls didn't play last week, so we said screw it.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
And we'll get to it later, but the U.S. men's team is not something to talk about at the moment. So,
Cool. Where's Pat when we need him, huh?
I know, seriously. We should have talked about coming on this episode.
Yeah, God.
Oh, that probably would have blown the 40-minute time limit. So
That's true. That's true. That would have been the full 40 minutes.
That would have been like, what, 3 minutes of us bantering and 37 of Pat just going off.
Yes.
All right. Anyway, on the better side of our fandom, at least for those listening, Red Bulls have won 3 in a row for the first time this year. Holy shit.
Yeah.
2-0 win at home versus Atlanta going into that little international break. You have the replies on Blue Sky.
Yeah, just a couple. But Jeremiah said, very happy with that win. We came through an absolute nightmare of a schedule this month surprisingly well. Helps that Atlanta were completely abject in this game, but I won't take anything away from that performance at that point in the recent calendar. And then our friend Chico said, 3 wins in a row for the first time since dinosaur roamed the earth. In all seriousness, though, they got a little sleepy at the end, but came out strong and played well overall. No complaints. Hopefully Lewis Morgan is back by the time the break is over and they can really get rolling. I still think Sofo has to start, though. The guy is tenacity personified, exactly what this team needs.
Yep. I agree with all that.
Yeah.
Although if the team gets healthy, it's really hard to find spots for people on the offensive side.
And that is a good problem to have.
It is. It actually is. It's a really good problem, one that we haven't had in a while. So.
Yep.
All right, let's get into our thoughts, likes and dislikes. Truman, you go first. What do you dislike the most about this one?
I mean, there's not much to hate, but I mean, again, you could look at the second half where they kind of just, like they said, sleptwalk to the second half of the game. That can always allow any team to get back into it with one goal. They didn't give it up, but you just, you want to close out the game strong. And there's been a few of these wins here that they did not close the game out strong. You would just like to see them get one more, put the game to bed at home, score in front of your supporter section, and just, making a really easy night for everybody.
Yeah, my dislike, I'll direct it at one person in this case, Raheem Edwards. Dude, 90, it's stoppage time, right? It was 90 plus 5 when you got a yellow card. Why are you going that hard up 2-0?
I don't know. The game's over, right? It's completely over.
Yeah. I mean, it's just unnecessary.
Yeah. But thankfully, that's the biggest gripe you can have. You know what I'm saying? Like,
or we didn't score in the second half, which I feel like we should have.
Yeah.
But we scored 2 in the first, so at least there's that.
Yeah.
And speaking of Sofo, I'll make that my like. Speaking of Sofo, when he came on in the second half, right, we like you said, we were sleepwalking, but I felt like the intensity picked up a little bit when he came on the field, which is always a good thing to have with the sub, where he can increase the intensity, especially when you play a high pressing, or you're supposedly playing a high pressing style. Whether or not he starts, I don't know, but if he has to come off the bench, if he's a regular like 30 plus minutes off the bench, that's a great thing to have, honestly.
And that's something this team really hasn't had in years.
Yeah,
is a real true threat coming off the bench, high energy, great touch on the ball. They haven't had that in forever. But I mean, like Chico said, I'd rather see the guy starting. But right, when Lewis Morgan comes back, good problem to have.
Yeah, I mean, obviously when he comes back, Morgan's not going to start.
Right.
So for a while, Morgan may be that like super sub type player, but you know, when we get into more of these three or so May, I think is the exception to how bad the schedule is. But there will still be weeks where we're going to need to play 2 or 3 matches in a week.
Yeah.
So being able to rotate your guys is going to be a huge benefit once that happens.
Yeah.
What's your like?
My like is Cam Harper having an absolute game. Getting the steal, creating that turnover where he got to score that first goal, and him creating the second goal, getting the ball coming down the field, the great pass to a wide open Choupo-Moting. That was great. Chupo's having a pretty damn good season for a first-year signing, designated player. Again, something this team's been desperate for the past few years. But I think was it Chico who talked about it a few weeks ago, talking about Cam Harper getting revved up, and he was just coming out firing in this game.
Yeah, he really was. He was good before he took that little break because of the injury, but I feel like, and I know it's only been really a few games, but I feel like he's almost stepped it up a little bit since he came back.
Yeah.
And again, good thing to have, a good problem to have is that he may be one of those guys that ends up on the bench at certain points. But having him come off having him be able to come off the bench like that will be huge.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Any other afterthoughts on the game against Atlanta?
I mean, no, but maybe a certain other team could take a look at Cameron Harper. Serious look, because we're going to get into that team in a little bit.
Are you talking about another team in red?
Yes.
Yes. If he goes there and has to play everything and does well against them, I'd be pissed, honestly.
Oh no, I'm not talking about Liverpool. I'm talking about a team that wears red, white, and blue.
Oh, wait, is he even eligible? For some reason, I thought he wasn't. Now I gotta look this up because I couldn't remember.
America?
He's American, but for some reason, I thought he wasn't. I thought he wasn't American for some reason.
No.
Okay, he was born in California, but he has Scottish parents. That's why I was thinking that he wasn't American because, for some reason, I knew he was Scottish in some way.
Yeah, and he already chose. Well, he did choose to play. He could, I guess, go without Scotland, but he chose to represent the U.S.
I don't think he's tied technically because it was U20 according to his Wikipedia, so he would still in theory get to play. That's why I was thinking that because he came from the Celtic youth system. That's why I was thinking he was Scottish, and technically he has one match for Celtic in the Scottish Premier League or Premiership. So there you go. All right. Anyway, any other afterthoughts?
No, I think that's it. That's it. I'm glad we remembered this game. It was a couple weeks ago, but
I know.
I mean, 3 in a row. That's awesome. That's how you climb the standings in the East. That's how you do it. Is you got to win a bunch of games in a row. So they definitely needed it. No, just great. Looking good.
I mean, 9 points in literally 8 days. That's really good.
Yep.
They currently sit 7th in the Eastern Conference. Not saying that they're going to be first place in the Eastern Conference at the end of the season. Don't get me wrong, but they're within striking distance of 7 points off. So,
and there's games being played. I think there's games tonight. There's games that over the weekend that they weren't involved in, so they'll have a game or two in hand too.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, New York City played Atlanta and won 4-0 tonight. So
yes, they did.
Okay, let's move on to prediction standings. We each got a point for calling the win, so that puts Truman at 12. I'm at 5. Coming up, an opportunity for make it 4 in a row for the Red Bulls when they travel down to take on Austin FC. Match is Saturday, June 14th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Austin comes into this game with a 6-5-7 record, 23 points, a -7 goal difference, 7th in the Western Conference. And would it help if I updated my agenda correctly to have the actual last 5 because I just left that one alone by accident. Let's see. Last 5 in MLS play. They drew Vancouver, which honestly is a good result. Drew Minnesota, drew Salt Lake, lost to San Diego, and then beat Colorado. So, a little mixed bag. And then they had a 3-1 win over Houston in the middle of that in the Open Cup with apparently each team getting a red card. So that was at the end of the game. Okay, never mind. That's a little bit different. All right, so thoughts on Austin. Truman, you're up first. What do you think is going to happen on Saturday?
I mean, I think that's a good game to try to get a draw out of. Again, they're playing hot. I think asking for 4 wins in a row in Austin against a decent team is a tough task. We got to stay positive now because, again, 3 wins straight. Like, I'm going to try to get the positive momentum. I think they can get a draw. Cam Harper's look good. Choupo-Moting's looking great. Forsberg's looking good. Maybe Morgan sits on the bench in this one. They got Sofo. They have weapons. Cornell's second in the league in shutouts, I believe. So he's having a great year. Let's just go with the generic 1-1. It'll probably be freaking hot in Austin, but I think coming out of there with a draw is awesome.
I'm sorry, what was the score line you said?
1-1.
1-1, okay. I was trying to look up the shutouts. For some reason, that is not a player stat on MLSsoccer.com. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I just don't question it.
Okay, here we go. Goalkeeping. Clearances. Nope, that's not it. Okay, clean sheets after this. Thanks for a second, and filters it. So, yeah, Cornell is tied technically for third. There's 2 people tied for first. He is tied for third with 7 clean sheets on the year. So, holy shit. Hey, I just realized. So, we've played 17 matches this year. And we have, I forget if we did how we did without Cornell, because there's one game I think he missed for national duty. Because he is 16 according to this. Almost half of our games have been shutouts for us. It does not feel that way.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, they're probably all at home, but it doesn't feel that way.
For sure, they're all at home.
All right. Anyway, back to Austin. Austin is another team that's struggling. If you look at the whole season, probably the most recent results said they're not as bad as you would think. There's a possibility for a win, I would think, but Austin we've had crazy matchups with Austin. So I believe it was a few years ago, and Truman, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this. I think it was like 2-3 years ago where we had like a crazy 4-4 draw down in Austin. It was just, I think it was like the first time we played down there.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So I feel like something crazy is going to happen. I think a draw the most realistic scenario.
So you're saying it's going to be a 12-12 draw? It's going to get even crazier?
I'm not going that crazy. Not going that crazy. But I'm going to be a little different. I'm not going to say 1-1. I'm going to go 70. I'm going to go 75%. I'm going to say it's a crazy 3-3 draw on the road.
Wow. All right. I like that.
Hey, I'm 7 points behind you. Okay. I got to start taking some risks.
I like it.
All right. Any other thoughts on the Austin game?
No. Great stadium. It looks really cool.
Yeah. Maybe I'll get down there someday when it's like we maybe play them in like March when it's not so bad. But we'll see. Red Bulls 2. They won their last match against Crown Legacy 5-2. They sit with a record of 8-2-2, 27 points, a +8 goal difference, number 2 in their group. The next match is against Chattanooga FC, which I believe is an independent team, not tied to MLS sides at all. Sunday, June 15th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Gotham FC on the back of their W Champions Cup victory, I guess with a little bit of a hangover. They lost 2-1 versus the KC Current. That puts their NWSL record at 3-3-5, 12 points, a +1 goal difference, number 10 in the league. Their next match is on Saturday, June 14th, where they will travel to take on the Utah Royals, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yeah, that was a home loss too. That sucked. By the way.
Yeah,
that
the home loss coming off of the Champions Cup. That would have been like a great thing, but
yeah,
just how it is sometimes. All right, with that, it is time for the F1 update.
And box now, box forward. Stay out.
Well, Spain was a fucking mess, huh?
Yeah.
That was also a couple weeks ago. That was an abject disaster. That was
like a fairly normal race until the last, 10 laps?
The last couple laps right after that yellow flag.
Yeah.
You know, the tire switch right? So they had to go with the hards. They were the only tires they had remaining that were new. So they were already going to probably be behind the 8 ball going with hard tires while everyone else was on mediums. Max losing his mind over that, and then Max just straight up losing his mind on the track, which he, if you know him, he does that from time to time. Getting deducted points. He dropped down to 10th. Yuki finished, I think it was 13th. So, I mean, it could have been a great day of finishing potentially third. End up with a point, and Yuki was 0. That's all on everybody on that team. I mean, I would have just kept the other tires on and not even switched out, right? You might have had a better advantage. I think they were on the mediums at that point.
At least you would have started. At least you would have started in the lead.
Yes, and that too, and maybe like, hey, he's probably still the best driver in Formula One. He would have been able to manage those tires to the checkered flag, but it was a comedy of errors in that game, in that race, which really sucked. But this weekend they're in Canada, they're in Montreal, so let's get their shit together. It'll be a race at a normal watch time, not 9 a.m., which I always enjoy. I don't know. It's tough. McLaren is just, we all knew they were going to be the team to beat this year. They just keep proving it race after race.
Isn't there a threat of rain this weekend up there?
I think there's a threat of rain, I think, kind of a little bit everywhere on the coast.
Let's see. Oh, Sunday, actually, right now, they're saying it'll be mostly sunny in Montreal.
I mean, if you're considering having a meaningless parade on Saturday, maybe you should cancel it because of the rain.
Whichever day. I can't remember which day it is, but yeah, whichever day that meaningless parade may or may not be.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the dumping grounds.
I'm the trash man.
Speaking of trash.
Fucking embarrassing.
My
haven't
God.
pulled that one out in a while.
Yeah, well, the U.S. team deserves it because they look so bad. I know you're playing the who's, it's what's, it's whatever's, but I was kind of saying this to my friend at work, like now you have the Gold Cup coming up, right, which we'll touch on in a minute. But it's World Cup qualifying time. Yes, you don't have to qualify, but this is where I want all the guys out. This is where the team needs to start gelling. You need to treat this Gold Cup as World Cup qualifiers and playing your starters because they look fucking horrible. 6-1 in 2 games against teams that are okay, right? Okay, decent, not great, not world killers. And I mean, getting embarrassed 4-0 to Switzerland's fucking. You hit it again. Just hit it.
It's fucking embarrassing.
That's all you can say about that. That is absolutely a joke.
Hold on, I gotta find where Switzerland is, even in the UEFA Nations League, because that would tell you a lot. All right, let's see, 24-25. Switzerland is in Group A, so at least they're in the top division of it, but they were 15th out of that league, playing the 15th best team in UEFA, going by that metric. I know
They got smoked.
I know Europe's better, is supposedly better, but
Sure.
But they got demoted, by the way, to the B League apparently for next year. You should not have. To me, you don't lose that game, and you don't lose it 4-0.
Yeah, I mean, it's all. It's just piss poor performances, and yeah, be worried about the Gold Cup. Be worried about how they perform in these games.
Yeah. Speaking of the Gold Cup, for the group stage, they got 3 matches coming up. First one, Trinidad and Tobago on June 15th, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Saudi Arabia, which I didn't even realize they got invited this year, June 19th at 9:15. And Haiti, June 22nd at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I don't know where the games are. I don't care.
Yeah, it don't matter, or whatever.
But what do you think about MetLife obviously installing grass for this, and it's going to get immediately removed?
I know the stadium that desperately needs grass for the NFL, for the Giants and the Jets. I mean, it's UEFA, right? You have to have grass. That is just the way it is.
I'm sorry, FIFA, because I'm sorry,
FIFA,
that was
right?
for the Gold
Not
Cup.
UEFA.
I'm sorry,
FIFA. That's me, miss.
I'm sorry, I mixed tournaments. It's not even the Gold Cup. That one's for the fucking Club World Cup.
All right, well, still, right? It's. I mean,
Yeah.
I that's not really FIFA organized, but still, it drives you crazy as a football fan that they can't put grass in there, even though the players are like screaming for it.
Yes. Speaking of the Club World Cup, I don't know if a game has been played yet, but I know ticket sales are bad. I saw something where basically the way they are selling tickets is WWE style. So all the fans will be not on the camera side of the field, the main camera side of the field. So I'm going to guess there's no cameras on the other side. It will all be shot from one side of the field. This way you will never see empty seats.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Well, is it Flamenco who's in the tournament, correct? From Brazil?
Flamenco's in the tournament, yes.
I have a guy I used to work with he's going to Jersey for the one game they're in. And then I think he's flying to Florida for the second game then when they play Inter Miami. So, I mean, I'm surprised that those games won't be packed. Because let me tell you about all the Brazilians I work with at work. They love that team. That's pretty much the team they all love. So I would think wherever they go, they will have a very strong following. But right, aside from that,
and maybe Messi, right? Those two
right,
teams.
Messi, sure, yep, of course.
I'll say maybe Chelsea, Man City, because EPL is a big thing over here.
Yeah,
I was going to say Madrid, but no, I don't think without Ronaldo it's going to happen. So
I mean, there's no Liverpool, so who cares? There's no Red Bulls, who cares? The
well,
team that's in it is the team that didn't even make the MLS Cup Finals. Just saying.
There's Red Bulls, but it's Salzburg. So
right, oh great, cool.
I'm surprised how they snuck in.
Don't know.
If you're going to do this Club World Cup thing, and I think it's kind of a pointless tournament because of because they used to do in December or something like that.
Yeah.
Why is it not just the Confederation champions? Like, give us the Champions League champion, the CONCACAF champion, the CONMEBOL champion. The 5 confederations? Just do it that way if you used to do it. At least you could say it's a champions thing.
Right.
Kind of waters it down when you got Man City, who finished 4th in the. I know they probably qualified because of EPL last year, but they finished 4th this year.
Right.
Chelsea, I don't even remember where Chelsea finished in terms of EPL, but they probably made it in through
third.
I mean,
they were third,
but Chelsea made it in probably based off of did they win Europa League or something the last year? Honestly, don't remember. But that's how they're getting in.
Right.
Seattle Sounders got in because they won the CONCACAF Champions Cup 2 years ago. Inter Miami was just oh, hey, we won the Shield. We're going to quickly get Messi in there before anybody says anything.
Right. They won the Shield, which is a trophy that some fans claim isn't a legitimate trophy, but they'll probably claim it is because they got into this tournament because they won it.
Yeah. So, I understand what FIFA's trying to do. It's because it's a money grab.
Mm-hmm.
But I wish I had the Ted Lasso money flip because that'd be perfect.
It'll also be very interesting to see who plays for these teams. For Man City and Chelsea, you're not getting all the stars.
No,
it's vacation time. Right, it's vacation time for those guys.
I mean, this tournament's going to go from June 14th to the final on July 13th. So literally a month.
Right.
And this is overlapping international duty, right? So you got the Gold Cup. I don't know if any other confederations are playing right now, but there's going to be international games, and they have, unless they're made a special exemption, you have to give players up for those. So I don't know. It's all about
We're not
money.
bitter. We just think it's stupid. That's all.
It's a pure money grab.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. At this point, soccer is business, but some things are less business than others.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, anything else for Dumping Grounds?
I do have one more thing.
Okay.
So I watch a YouTube channel called Away Days. I don't watch it all the time, but I do watch it a lot. Kid from England goes, sometimes he'll throw a dart at a map and then just go to wherever the dart lands and go to the closest soccer game there. Really cool videos. So he had one the other day. I will tell you the name of it. It was called, hold on, I got to go to my history again. It was saved and now it deleted itself. It was called The Reality of American Football Fans, I believe was the name of it. So I went and watched it, and he was at a New York Red Bulls game. And he spent the day with members of the ESC. So that was really cool.
I saw that posted on the Red Bulls subreddit. Apparently it's from December of 24. When I'm looking at Google search.
I'm pretty sure no, because he was at the game against Atlanta when they won 2-0.
Okay, so why is Google search telling
Yeah,
you?
Google's very wrong. Very, very wrong. But cool video, worth checking out, obviously, if you've never seen it. His YouTube page is awesome anyway. The guy has, he has a billions, how many subscribers, crazy amount of subscribers.
So he's done multiple in the US then, because this is a game for the Galaxy.
Yes, I watched that one too, of course. That was, I believe, the final.
That one's called The Reality of Football in America. That's why I got confused.
Well, I sent you the link for that one so you can watch it. But very cool. It's from 3 days ago. So maybe 4 days ago, probably the time you watch this, but away days, cool video. Check it out.
Okay. Slightly different title. That's why I got confused. Okay, I'm good. Of course, the Seattle Sounders guys in the first 2 seconds of the fucking YouTube video. All right. With that, let's move on to the last segment of the show, Truman's Terrible Team of the Week.
That's terrible.
Guess who? There's only one answer. There's only one answer for this. Actually, my friend who's also sent me the away days video, which I'd already watched, he goes, I swear I was going to see you. He is a big Chicago Fire fan. He lives in Chicago. And we both laughed and cried on how Chicago beat DC in DC 7-1, which also included a hat trick from the one and only Tom Barlow.
Which I think you said was his first 3 goals on the
First
year.
3 goals of the year were in one game. But, it couldn't be in a more hilarious spot is beating DC in their building 7-1. Again, 1 goal off from the MLS record of deficit, right, in a single game. I think it's a 7-goal deficit, 7-goal difference, right?
It's the Red Bulls
MLS record. Right. Red Bulls have done it twice, and the Galaxy have done it once, I believe. And
we're the only
the Galaxy.
We're the only team to have done it twice. Okay, let me go to transfer market for this. So the largest deficit is 8.
Oh, 8 goals. Oh, really?
I'm sorry, 7. I got confused for a second. So
because the Galaxy won, I think, a game 8-1.
Yeah, it was 1998. They beat FC Dallas 8-1.
Yeah, and then we have 7 zeros.
At that point, it was I guess Dallas burn technically. Then so we have a 7-0 over LA at home, a 7 over NYC in their building.
Yeah,
which unfortunately was not the first time that was happened on the road. Chicago almost tied us. They have a 7-0 against Sporting Kansas City from 2001. Then Atlanta beat New England 7-0 in 2017, and Philly beat DC. Right, yeah, and Philly beat DC 7-0 back in 22, which means DC is also almost on the end of 2 losses.
Man.
But here's the interesting fact. DC it looks like the only team to have lost 2 games in which 7 goals were scored by their opponents.
Woof.
One of them was the 7-1 and then the 7-0 against Philly.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, they have a 7-1 themselves against Toronto.
That's actually fun.
A lot of 6-0s in here too. Which we have 2 6-0s. We have one. I'm sorry. We have 1 6-0 over Salt Lake in 2006, but then we lost 6-0 to Sporting KC in '99. So
no one remembers those days. No one remembers the '90s.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they beat the KC Wizards back then. So
yeah, and
that would have been the Metro Stars days still. All right, but yeah, that's definitely worthy of another one.
That's terrible.
All right, anything else we want to talk about?
No. I'm glad Edmonton tied this game up 3-3, so they actually have a shot because they looked terrible in the first half of this game in Stanley Cup.
That's terrible.
Yeah, they did look terrible.
I haven't watched it. I'm just going off what you said. So
there you go. Good enough. Just believe me. It's 3-3 now. Exciting. Hockey's back.
All right. Let's wrap this one up then. Patreon.com/Red Bull Rant to support the show. $1 a month gets you exclusive content whenever we decide to do it. Jeremiah Dempster, Steven Santos, Eddie Delecto want to thank you guys for supporting the show as our producers. RedBullRant@gmail.com if you want to send an email. If you want to call, get your voice on the show, 973-348-5329. Facebook.com/Red Bull Rant. On Blue Sky at Red Bull Rant for the show, at Doc the Stooge for myself, at the Truman for Truman. We're also on Instagram, Reds. I can't remember what else there is. I think it's that. Just those
Blue
two.
Sky, Instagram, Facebook, Friendster, MySpace.
Friendster's one I haven't heard in a long time.
Woof. We're on Woof. You can tout it out.
Yep.
Periscope. And hit us up on AOL Instant Messenger.
I used to love AOL Instant Messenger.
Yeah, who did? Love those chat rooms. Ace/S/L.
Yep. And away messages and all this other shit.
Oh, it's the best. What a time. What a time that was.
I know. That's it. I'm assuming our demographic skews towards our age range, but for those that are not, you missed a lot growing up with the internet.
I think they're all our age. There's no way. No, Eddie's not. Eddie, you're the one young man, the one young listener, I believe that
I don't know how old Eddie is, so I didn't assume. But yeah, growing up the way we did, where we did not have the internet first, and then growing with it, that was the whole thing that will never happen again. So
yeah, I had a full conversation about playing Castle Wolfenstein high school, or Castle Wolfenstein in high school. So there you go.
Yeah, we're playing Oregon Trail in elementary school.
Yeah,
and hearing the 56K modem sounds. Pretty sure I have it as my ringtone, or I have it on my phone as ready to go as a ringtone if I need it.
That's awesome.
All right. You can subscribe to our show for iTunes, YouTube Music, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, pretty much anywhere you can find a podcast. Last words before we get out of here.
Red Bulls don't die from dysentery on your way to Austin. I would love to see a huge result here. I will settle for a tie, but I will jump for joy with a win.
Yep. And be careful fording the Mississippi.
Yes.
All right. So for Truman and myself, this has been episode 487 of the Red Bull Rant. Thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, go Red Bulls.
Peace out.